Hey guys, this is Rick coming at you with Weed to No Basis, the podcast for all things cannabis business related. Are you an entrepreneur? Have something you wanted to create, something you wanted to bring to life in the cannabis industry? Maybe you've always wanted to partake in one of the biggest industries in modern day history. This is the podcast to listen to. Hey guys, it's Rick, and welcome back to Hemp Q. You guys are, if it sounds like I'm a broken record, I'm repetitive, it's because I am, with intention. Guys, repetition sets us free, and repetition is the critical element to learning and to getting things ingrained. So you're here in my living room. We're at Hemp HQ, Hemp Q, the hemp quarters. And remember, if you're watching this, it's because you are on a Weed to No Basis, guys, and that's the show, Weed to No Basis. Our show is designed to impact positively the cannabis startup entrepreneur or wantrepreneur. What that means is the person who's in business, you're maybe looking to scale, you want to cross that chasm, or you have an idea. But here's the thing, guys, is I get asked a lot of questions, and I'm not just saying that as a platitude. I literally get asked so many questions that we could probably have easily hundreds of episodes around the questions. So I like to sometimes group them together, but one question really stood out. I was asked this on a panel. I was on a panel discussion at a cannabis convention in a recreational legal state. So it was in a state, it was in Nevada, where you could go buy a joint. As long as you're over 18, you could just go buy a joint. It was also medical marijuana. My point was that it was in a state where there's a different level of consciousness around cannabis. And the question was this, and I'm going to look down and read it because I actually wrote it down. It was this: how do you combat stereotypes that exist surrounding cannabis as a business owner? I want you to listen to each of those words the way it was actually asked to me, word for word. How do you combat stereotypes that exist surrounding cannabis as a business owner? And here's the thing. I didn't answer it in this hypothetical or altruistic or philosophical sense. I answered it very direct. And the reason I answered very direct was because of one word that really stood out to me: combat. The question in and of itself is combative. It sounds aggressive. It sounds strong. It sounds like somebody's looking for a fight. And that's the power of words. Therein lies the absolute power of words. How do you combat stereotypes? And of course, maybe when you hear that word, your mind goes somewhere. Maybe you're thinking of a movie you saw, like Heartbreak Ridge. Maybe you're a veteran, and when you hear that word, you're thinking about Iraq or Afghanistan. My point is this, is that word evokes and it provokes something in us. And as the panel began to answer it, I realized that because of that word, my fellow panelists got very combative, like they did. Like one of them said, we go head on, we're head on. We go straight at them, like to the throat. We go for the jugular. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, guys. And here's the thing, it's because of questions and words like that this problem still exists. You feel me? Now, sometimes we frame questions and we ask questions and we drop in specific words to evoke and provoke. I get that. We do that. A good writer will always do that. A good speaker will always do that. But a great writer, a great speaker, will be able to take those ideas and get you thinking differently about them. So if you're thinking, Rick, are you a great writer or a great speaker? I don't know that. I do know this. I do know that the way I answered the question was not in a combative way, and I said, I choose to not combat the stereotypes. I'm already a stereotype. I'm Hispanic. And there's a whole lot of people of my color that are in prison right now because of combating stereotypes and doing all kinds of things, and I don't want to play that game. I don't want to combat stereotypes. But here's where I really believe there's an opportunity here, because think about a football team, okay? Now, you don't have to like football or even grasp the whole concept of the game. Just stay with me here for a sec. You see, a football team is made up of several positions, right? or a squad of Marines, or a lacrosse team, or whatever. Even your office, your place of work, it's made up of positions. I'm going to go back to the football team. The positions, you have a quarterback, right? You have a coach, you have your front line, and they're the ones who are banging heads. You have the receivers who are fast and they're lithe and they catch the ball. You have the kicker, you have people in the stands. And the thing is, guys, is it's all of that that makes up the arena. You with me? All of that makes up the arena, or let's call it the battlefield. All of that makes up the battlefield. The point of the battlefield that we're on right now, if we're using that analogy, let's call it the cannabis business battlefield, is that we don't all have to be the ones on the front lines banging heads. Make sense? We don't all have to be the ones at war every day. Sometimes we need the ones who are on the sidelines, making sure things are okay. Sometimes we just need to be in the stands and support the battle that's going on. Sometimes we need to be the one calling the plays. My point is this, is that there's some great groups out there doing some, let's call it combative things. My words, not anybody else's. They're the groups like NORML, N-O-R-M-L. They're the ones who are impacting policy changes in our state capitals, in our municipalities. There are groups that are marching on cities and they're holding up flags, guys. That is how I view as direct hand-to-hand, helmet-to-helmet combat. That's not the kind of combat I engage in. Maybe it's yours, and that's okay. Here's the thing, is that we need to be unified. We need to be on the same team. And so even though I'm not there head on head banging heads and smoking dope on the Capitol steps, guys, I'm doing my own form of combat, and that's through education. And that therein lies the crux of that word. Combat doesn't have to mean this all the time. Combat could mean educating you right now, about how else to be combative. How do you combat stereotypes that exist surrounding cannabis as a business owner? That's a deep question. It could be a very heavy question. And guys, if you're out there and you're a entrepreneur or you're a startup cannabis entrepreneur, it's something you're gonna have to deal with. You will. You will likely have people who are gonna say, what the hell are you doing? Why are you in this illegal business? And you're probably gonna lose friends. You may gain some friends. You may have people suddenly not like you. You may have people who are not literally but figuratively gonna throw Molotov cocktails through your window. Guys, it's gonna happen. Here's where you have a choice. Pick up arms. Go march in Austin. Go to Sacramento. Go to DC. That's one form of combat. Another form of combat is this: strength through unity. Educating. Running a business like a business owner. Running a business like an entrepreneur. That is where I choose to pick up my shield, to teach you, to help you, to show you how to combat the stereotypes by being a superior cannabis entrepreneur. That's where I hang up my hat. That's my sword and shield. That is my position on this team. That's why you're listening. Make sense? How do you combat stereotypes that exist surrounding cannabis as a business owner? My answer was by helping you succeed in becoming a superior cannabis entrepreneur. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, maybe you don't agree with me, drop them down below, guys, because that's where the good dialogue is, guys. Don't be a bandwagon rider. If you don't agree with me, say something. If you agree with me, say something. Guys, this is where sometimes the battle begins and ends. Through honest, open diatribe, conversation, commentary right here. How do you combat stereotypes that exist surrounding the cannabis as a business owner? Helping you become a superior cannabis entrepreneur. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. Leave your comments below. And remember, if you're here watching, if you're listening or watching the show today, this episode is because you too are on a weed to know basis. Have an awesome rest of your day. Go get 'em, Tiger. Peace.